So, how's it hanging, folks? And how the fuck? Sorry about that. Bear with me. Using, I'm using this tripod, so bear with me. Yeah. So, how's it hanging, folks? And today I will be talking about the new thriller, The Little Things, that is in theaters and on HBO Max. And it's starring Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. 3 Academy Award winners. And the plot of the movie is, and the plot of the movie follows 2 cops. One is a deputy, and one is a detective looking for a serial killer, but in L.A. So awkward, y'all. I'm so sorry. They looking for a serial killer in L.A. County, and they find they supposedly prime suspect. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't prime suspect. But yeah, in a nutshell, that is plot. So, what did I think about this movie? It was goodish. It's decent, you know. I mean, the comparison to Seven and Zodiac is going to be natural. It's expected. Yeah, I mean, it's no Seven, no Zodiac by any means, but it's very good. I mean, it's basic police procedural. Not really what you would call, quote unquote psychological thriller, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed it, and the performances was pretty good. Maybe not, but pretty good for the most part. You know, because Denzel Washington. I mean, even when he's not trying, he still managed to give a serviceable performance. Same with Rami Malek and Jared Leto. Can't really say Jared Leto. I mean, with the whole Joker from Suicide Squad thing, and but yeah, he does his job well in this movie, and this movie is really basic. Oh yeah, the movie does start with a new Warner Brothers logo, and surprise, starts at night. But basically, it's this lone woman driving, it's not her business, and then there's a car coming up behind her, and it's definitely a suspicious car, I would say. Yeah, it come up behind her real fast, and she does the smart thing, and that is drive past them. Then she does the dumb thing, which is stop and get out her car, and kind of seek help and hide instead of just keep driving and getting the heck out of Dodge. But it is what it is. She surprisingly gets away. She flags down a truck, and then that's the beginning of the movie. I mean, time card included, but yeah, it's the beginning of the movie, and then we are introduced to Denzel Washington character, Joe Deacon. That's really a plain Jane name, isn't it? I mean, but yep. So he's a deputy of Kern County, and from what you can tell from Kern County is that not a whole lot of action going on. I mean, if you count a bunch of mischievous kids breaking stuff and vandalizing, establishment, then sure, that's action. But yeah, so basically the owner of the establishment basically tell him that he calls him an arm and leg. The supplies bulbs. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just let me. Where was I? Oh yeah, the owner of the establishment talking about how he calls an arm and leg the supply bulbs. I don't know why I can't say that. Supply bulbs for his sign. And basically, the kids, destroy his sign. And here's the really bad part, I have to say. The name of the restaurant, the name of the place is called Black Angus Steakhouse. When they knocked out the G, but they knock out G. Know what they saying? Black, you know what? Black booty hole, basically. And it's like, yeah, I was like, that's not good. Not a good sign. I mean, we doing pedestrian humor. I mean, but it is what we jump from that to Denzel Washington going into his job, and his boss basically telling him that he need to go up to LA County and get some evidence that is important to a case they're trying to solve. So he leaves his house, get his truck, and he drives up to LA County. Not before he, say goodbye to a dog. I don't know if it's his dog or is it some stray dog, but I just know it's just a dog that shows up. He talks to it, and he's then off to LA County, and that's where he's dealing with people from his past, a really dark past, because the people who sees him don't seem to be that excited to see him. It's like they like, why are you here? He's just here doing his job, and they giving him a really hard time about it, and you kind of wondering what's the big deal. And don't worry, later on in the movie you will find out. But yeah, so they give him a hard time, and this is where he meets Rami Malek's character, Jim Baxter, and they do not start off on a good foot. No, they start off on the wrong foot. They really did. With Jim Baxter trying to have Joe's car get towed, and of course, Joe not having that. So he basically tell the hook man unhook his vehicle, and he'll be on his way. And then in the next scene, we see him in the police office, where I'm certain he used to work. Yeah, I'm certain he used to work there, because he knows his way around the place. And what this has to do with the narrative, I don't know. But yeah, so he having a little chit chat with the captain, and a lot of tension, mistrust. You feel it in this scene, and you don't know why, and you don't know where it comes from. All you know is that they have to put up with one another for a little bit. So Joe then of course walks in on a press conference that Jim is doing, and Jim kind of, how can I say, Jim was staring daggers at my guy. He really was. He was not being kind. He was being a little ruthless. And then cut to both of them going to that crime scene, and you see them, starting to get to know one another. They a little bit of witty manner going on, but yeah. So they both show up to the crime scene and discover that they have to go through an apartment and go on the fire escape and go into the apartment that they need to go into to investigate, where they found a naked body. Yeah, did I mention that this movie is not for kids? Therefore, this review is definitely not for kids. But yeah, so they go in, find a dead body, and start investigating. And then there's a Washington character, Joe, start to notice something. And he goes across the way and notices that the killer was actually watching the apartment where the woman he had killed recently was at. So, yeah. Yeah, so he's one of those voyeuristic killers. But yeah, and then I guess you can say we get more witty banter between Joe and Jim, with Jim basically telling Joe to buy him breakfast. Because Joe is definitely not going on with that. He's like, why, why do that? This met you. So I guess they kind of, based on their saying, they have a date. I don't know how else I can say it, but they kind of have a date. So so hmm. It's I know it's terrible. I just watched this movie. That's not a good sign if you just watch a movie and you start blanking on stuff. Uh, well, he doesn't take he doesn't exactly take Jim up on his offer, so he goes driving around the city at night, and he sees a lot of prostitutes. This is really not kid friendly at a review. Yeah, he sees prostitutes, and then he's go to a restaurant where he has a cup of coffee by himself, and yeah, and then oh, I'm jumping ahead of myself. That's not yeah. Ew. Let's just say I kind of I don't exactly remember what happened. I mean, don't worry. Don't worry. If I overlook something, I will rewatch the movie and do a follow up video. Don't worry about that. But oh yeah, we see a woman and a man take a nightly jog, and you wondering, are they a couple? And then you realize, no, they're friends. And again, Cat does something foolish and say, oh, it's this 3 blocks. Yeah, but there's a killing loose, meaning you think it's this 3 blocks. He this like, oh, easy target. And unsurprisingly, he he sees her and he starts stalking her, and smash cut to daytime where where I think Joe is at the yeah, where Joe and Jim finally have that date. I mean, have breakfast. I wait 2 grown men. Now I'm not assuming nothing, but yeah. So they don't really have breakfast. I just realized they don't really have breakfast. It's Denzel talking to his boss, and his boss basically telling him that yeah, the boots, we don't need those. We don't need evidence. Guy already confessed. He already took a deal. Do you? Apparently, in between that time, his boss also told him to take some vacation days off, and Jim basically walks in the middle of it, not before noticing that the woman we just saw in the previous scene is now missing. Which, I'm certain you know what happened. I mean, obviously, I mean, it's a police procedural that they say it's a psychological thriller. They say it's a psychological thriller. I'm not gonna say it's a psychological thriller. You just need to watch the movie to find out whether or not it really is a psychological thriller, or if it's a basic police procedural. But yeah, moving on. And yeah, so Jim basically tells Joe that, do you want to see him on an interrogation? And basically, we then cut to seeing Joe in a room, where he's basically in a room adjacent to the interrogation room, where Jim is interrogating a suspect who just so happens to be a peeping tom, sexual predator. Ugh. And this movie is rough. It's yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, not really off for no reason. That's for sure. But yeah, so we meet this guy, and well, he's definitely what you would call a red herring. You know. I mean, he's scrawny, he's dorky looking, and all this, and it's like, no, definitely not him. That's not the guy. So Joe brings up an individual named Mary Roberts, and well, he has a very strong reaction, very emotional yet extremely paranoid reaction. So yeah, so the next scene is basically Joe and Jim talking, and Joe basically tell him Mary Roberts is a victim, and the guy you had in there is a suspect. Getting how is he a suspect? I mean, he's definitely no suspect. And Lord have mercy, I am really blanking on this movie, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm so blanking on this movie, but yeah, movie a little yeah. Joe goes to a hotel. Well, roof motel, if you will. It's not very good looking place. Pretty sad, shy and run down. And yeah, the room kind of dirty. We bring us to the next scene. It's just kind of weird. So my guy has the sixth sense. He can see dead people. How? How? I mean, it's very Manhunter-esque. Not done better, but Manhunter-esque nonetheless. Lord, I just rhymed. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to rhyme. You know, this happened. But yeah, so he see dead people. How? Don't know why I know. He just, there they are in his hotel room looking at him. And well, yeah. I assume he tried to get some sleep, but after that, I don't think that's possible. And oh Jesus. I probably should have said spoilers, because this review is really spoilery. I mean, I'm literally telling y'all the whole plot and the entire narrative, and I'm just saying, if you haven't seen the little thing yet, I guess go see it in theaters. It's definitely not a good idea, but if you have HBO Max, you just definitely watch it on HBO Max. But yeah, consider this a spoiler review of this movie, if I can remember anything about movie is bland, man. It's bland and very unremarkable. I mean, I really enjoyed it, but it's bland and unremarkable. I mean, I just watched the movie like a couple minutes ago, probably 30 minutes ago, and bruh, I really have forgotten a good chunks of this movie. I mean, I do remember the end and all that. I mean, hope I can make it to the end and see if I can remember anything, because I am drawing a blank right now. So let me try and see if I can do this. Oh boy. Oh yeah, we did cut Jim and his family. And yeah, Jim and his family, I mean, his two daughters and his wife. Of course, he asked his two daughters if they say a prayer, and his wife asked him if he set an alarm, which again, kill him loose. You might want to set an alarm, buddy. This saying, that might be the smart thing for you to do. They set an alarm. So he set an alarm, and well, I think I really did just skip over the part where he actually left town, and then he circled back around and came back town, and then that's when he link up with an old acquaintance who is a coroner, who of course spend their time talking to dead bodies. Yeah, this scene, hot. I see. But you can tell they go way back. And then Disney Watson start having a heart to heart with the corpse of a victim. They they really were trying to play up the emotions of this thing, and it was creepy and weird in all the wrong ways. And then cut to him and his old acquaintance, whose name is Flo. They have lunch, and she basically talking to him about him looking worse for wear, and tell him that when she look in his eyes, she sees nothing good. And that come back into play later on in the movie. And well, in the next scene, we see the awkward, tense reunion with his ex-wife. Yeah, this seems rough. I mean, he really did not seem like he wanted to be there at all. He did not want to be there whatsoever. But he wanted to check on her, and as you would expect a interaction between exes to go. Yeah, it ended pretty roughly. I might add. I mean, I may be reading a little too much into it, but they definitely, end a little roughly. Dang it! Did I skip the part where he goes to the thrift store and get the extra baggy clothes? Yeah, he buys some of the most unflattering, extremely large clothes that do not fit him at all, and you just like, ugh, couldn't find nothing in your size, my guy. But is what it is. I mean, before the whole pandemic thing, Goodwill was probably one of my favorite stores to go to, but haven't been there a hot minute, and it kind of warmed my heart a little bit seeing the thrift store show up in the movie. So yeah, he started following clues as he would. I mean, they say he's a deputy, but you can tell he's definitely. You can tell that there was a time when he was a detective, because he really do follow the clues, and the clues leads him to ABC Appliances, which is the place where they were sending somebody out to work on the fridge belonging to a victim of the serial killer. And well, he goes in and has a, I guess, conversation with the owner. I mean, it was a lot. Talking about a lot of dead air, and boy, you just felt the tension mounting, and it's like, ugh, it's not going well. Of course, he gets the evidence he needs, and he's about to leave, and then we're introduced to Jared Leto's character, Albert. Of course, because if you gonna name the obvious red herring for the real serial killer, I guess Albert the way to go. But yeah, we introduced Albert, and Albert, look at Albert. He don't look very hygienic. He don't look very clean. He's hella greasy. Ooh, I said, Oh, I shouldn't. Oh, we just gonna keep that in. We just keep that in. I just said a bad word, y'all. It's all right, y'all. We gonna keep it in, and we gonna keep going. But yeah, my boy is super crispy. Like he hasn't taken a shower or a bath in a hot minute, and so yeah. Um, we didn't see, you know, Joe take a leisurely drive, and he's been driving for a while because it's now nighttime, and he happened to see two cop cars and a coroner's van. So of course he follows it. I mean, because apparently when somebody tells him to say and curiosity killed the cat, don't mean much to this guy. So he follows it, and well, he shows up. Now, you think he would announce himself, but how my man was just standing in the weeds, in the tall grass, and was just sitting there, just standing there with his arm folded, hunts over, and just looking. It's like, what the heck are you doing, fam? Why are you being weird and creepy? What are you doing? And he came walking up talking, and in old school 90 manner, he's basically said, well, when you see two hoopsies, that's right, two hoopties. When you see two hoopties in a meat wagon, odds are there's something interesting going on. And well, they find another victim, in which, of course, they talk usual cop stuff pertaining to the victim. And then Jim asks Joe who was Mary Roberts. Of course, Joe dodges the question, which kind of was very suspicious how he dodged the question and didn't even answer it. But yeah, so months later, well, not months later, Joe and Jim are on the bridge and they're talking, and Jim is basically asking him, why don't anybody like him? And he's talking about how he had a great record and he was a great cop, and then he made this line about he probably didn't go to the right church, which again, what does that, what do you mean? What are you going, I mean, you go in any church is a white church. I mean, except for some churches, you can't say that. But any church beyond some churches I'm talking about, it's the right church. And then, Jim decided to ask him if he believed in God. And thank God, he does believe in God. I'm so sorry I just made that bad pun. But, good thing he believe in God. And then he's talking about, sometimes I think otherwise. It's, really? You think otherwise? Again, you've seen some really jacked up stuff in your life, but I promise you, God got nothing to do with that. Okay, well, what you mean? And Jim basically change the subject and say, well, I guess I owe you at breakfast now. And then Joe is introduced to Jim's family, and we definitely have what you would call awkward back and forth between Joe and Jim's wife. But yeah, so Jim's wife leaves, taking the children to school. I'm taking them to school. I mean, this scene is very reminiscent of the scene from The Equalizer 2. It really is. So, Jim and Joe are eating breakfast and talking shop about the case. And well, I did for real mention the part where, because the part where he goes see his ex-wife is after they have breakfast. Jeez, bro, I'm really telling this movie all out of whack. Like, yeah, jeez. But yeah, cut to, you know, Jim and Joe going to the bar, and it's definitely, and they say that they stick out. Whew, that'd be an understatement. Oh, they stick out really badly. It's like yeah, you see all these people who you see emo and see grunge, and then you see O2, you're like, oh yep, cops. So obvious. And then they drinking beer. Hmm. I'm sure everybody else is taking shots and drinking hard liquor, and they drinking beer. So it kind of make them obvious. And then they start talking about the case. Y'all surrounded by people, you know. So all this y'all talking about, you should not be talking about this for a bunch of people. But this acting like that. No, this acting like it's normal. It's like, no, that's not normal at all. But but yeah. Oh, gee. Oh, well, here I'm blinking again. Oh, wait, no. They return to the scene of a crime that happened 5 years ago. Jim and Joe returned to the scene of crime where Joe basically was telling him about everything that occurred that night, that night, and well, you know, but okay, I don't want this video to be long, but it might be long because I'm just blanking. Can I? Like I keep thinking I keep thinking, yeah. Hmm. I think the next part is where we meet up with Jared Leto's character, in which Joe is, I mean Jared Leto's character Albert, in which Joe is basically stupid around his car, and well, he basically asked Joe, "You must really like my car," and then Joe asked him, "How's the trunk space?" What? Why? You asking about the trunk space, man? Okay. But yeah, asked about trunk space. And it is the scene that come after when we see the girl from the beginning of the movie. Yeah, I think we see the girl from the beginning of the movie at the police station, in which they bring Albert in. And did I mention that Albert is a crime buff? Yeah, so he really is playing them for fools. And we get the traditional good cop bad cop. Jim is a good cop, and Joe is the bad cop. As well, one thing leads to another, and they don't arrest him. They want to cut him loose and see if they can find more evidence on him. When we then get to the scene in which Joe basically gets a new car, and he starts following Albert, and Albert is aware. Yeah, it's very spaghetti western standoff, and where literally a shot where you see Joe across the way, and you see Albert across the way, and then basically you start playing a game of cat and mouse, which basically ends with Albert basically confronting Joe, and of course Joe has his gun drawn. I don't know why I say drawn like that, but he had his gun out. He read. And then Albert basically threw it back in his face, said, "How's the trunk space?" Not smart. Not smart at all. You don't know he had a gun pointing at you, right? And well, doesn't escalate. Albert just speed off and leave, and that's it. And then Joe contacts Jim, asks him where was the crime scene, and he just so happened to be at the right spot, conveniently at the right spot that was mentioned. And again. But I'm just jumbling up this movie because I'm saying the bad cop thing came after that incident between Joe and Albert. So yeah, so they cut him loose, and well, they then start doing illegal stuff. Not very. I mean, they start doing stuff that no cops should be doing, like breaking and entering. Oh boy, yeah, Joe really talking about bite off more you can chew, Joe. Boy, Joe and Jim they really get themselves in some serious mess, don't they? Yeah, so they start following Albert, and then in between them following Albert, there is a scene where Jim, goes to the hotel to either talk to Joe or confront Joe. So yeah, Jim basically Joe asked him what he want, and Jim basically say, I want justice for these women that have a fourth. Ooh, did I say? I don't think I said F word. I don't think I did. He said he want justice for these women who unfortunately lost their lives to this killer. And well, Joe, in pure savage mode, basically he wants to do it for himself, and basically asked Jim, give me 5 minutes to go in Albert's apartment to find evidence. Of course, that doesn't go well, because Albert, of course, it's on them. I mean, so much so that they thought they had a brilliant, Lord, I can't say this word. I don't know why. They thought they had a brilliant plan. Okay, I said they thought they had a brilliant plan to sneak into this apartment, not knowing that Albert has a police scanner. So he kind of know there's something up when Jim called him out the blue. So he played along, and Joe sneaks into his apartment and start digging up stuff. And he happened to come across a little trap door in his floor where he see newspaper clippings of the crime they investigating. And unsurprisingly, old Albert called the police and tell him that, oh yeah, officer's out. So the police go up to his apartment, and mind you, Joe is still in the apartment. So so Joe has to do some nifty things to escape. He does escape, and they drive off to regroup, and they find another way to get Albert. Which good luck with that. Albert seemed to be a really smart guy. And oh yeah, I probably should have told y'all about the noise right going on. Yeah, I have a fan running. So if you wonder what the noise, if you hear humming, it's the fan. I have it on. I hopefully have it on low settings. So yeah, let's keep going. And yeah, I think it's the part where Joe and Jim do a stakeout, and Albert read for the perfect time for Joe to get out the car and leave, which left Jim vulnerable, and Jim foolishly get in Albert's car. Which, why would you do that? I mean, you are a detective. Like, why in the world would you get in this man's car, who is a prime suspect in a crime? In case you investigating. But luckily, Joe caught them in time and followed them to where they were, in which we get an intense scene with Jim and Albert, where they basically driving to a supposed spot where he, buried somebody, and well, it's a long drive. Luckily, Joe was able to keep up, and then they Jim and Albert finally make it there, and unsurprisingly, in the middle of nowhere, and it's a fence. Yeah. Uh, I am scratching my nose like, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, only one way that can end, right? If you've seen Seven, you know how. So yeah, so basically, Albert make Jim start digging holes in the in the middle of the desert at night. Start making him dig holes and start toying with him and start making him dig multiple holes. And then Albert made a really bad mistake, and the mistake would bring up his family with a no-no. And in a field raise, Jim basically whack-a-moles Albert to death, and and old Joe show up in the nick of time to see Albert lay out on the ground dead, and then he basically tell Jim, put his body in the hole, in one of these holes you dug, and I'll be back, in a couple hours. And basically, Joe and Jim basically decide to make Albert disappear. Mind you, they have no evidence to say that he was their guy. I mean, they had no evidence to say that he was their guy, or he was even a serial killer. They just decide, he's a bad dude. He's a bad dude, and there's no circumstantial evidence to say otherwise. So they make him disappear. Joe go back to his apartment and start cleaning it up, and then Jim basically from the nighttime to the morning time apparently was digging a bunch of holes. This is like, yeah, you dig a bunch of holes and a dead body just sitting there just chilling. But luckily Joe shows up. Luckily Joe shows up and bury Albert's body and basically tell Jimmy to cover it up. In which we then get the flashback where we find out that Joe accidentally killed one of the victims of the killer that they were looking for. And he had the people that he used to work with cover it up. And now he has poor Jim cover up a crime that he committed. And well, they cover it up. Jim, and I guess they go back normal. With, Jim taking some time off. And time off to spend with his family. And Joe going back to his home in Kern County. And basically them leaving the FBI drawn for scrawls, where they basically is like, okay, so we look for this guy who work a lot, who has a fast car, and it basically a guy who's a lot like Albert, and how we gonna catch the guy. You sure about that? I mean, I don't know. So we cut to Jim getting something from Joe, and it's some kind of red thing that a woman puts in their hair. Mind you, the woman that went missing, they never find her. So Joe basically goes to the store, buy basically a hair clamp that she had that was red, and basically gave Jim to make him think that, oh, he really did kill her when he really didn't. She's still missing. So yeah, and we cut Joe burning all Albert's stuff, and well, that's basically in the movie. Joe goes in the house, the dog follows. That's the end of the movie. Roll credits. And yeah, that was the little things. Goodish. It was goodish. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I can definitely see somebody saying that there were parts where it dragged or where it was boring. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, Denzel Washington. You can't go no wrong with Denzel Washington. I mean, not one of his best performances, but hey, Denzel Washington, can't go with him. Can't go. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I thought my camera stopped recording. Can't go wrong with him. No, I'm so sorry, y'all. But yeah, moving on. It is a Watson. It's not one of his best performance, but it's a good performance. Same with Rami Malek and Jared Leto. Not one of their best performance, good performance. And well, if I were to give this movie a rating, I'd probably go with a 6. You know, maybe probably 6.25, probably. You know, it's good. I mean, if you like cop procedural or you diehard Denzel Washington fan, I would say give it a watch, but if you looking for more, it's and you might want to look somewhere else. But other than that, that was my review of The Little Things. If you like this video, hit a like, leave a comment, and leave us appreciate. And yeah, and while you're at it, hit subscribe. I really appreciate support for my channel, and it really be appreciated. And with that being said, hope you guys have a great rest of your night.